Good Wednesday morning, everybody. July the 19th. Bit of a heat wave here in the United States. We'll just throw that one out there so that 100 years from now, when people are resurrecting the hard drives from that old YouTube experiment, when they come across the lifeboat, it is hot. It's been a very hot spell across the entire United States. People really has been hot. Today's going to be fun, man. I'm fired up about this morning's show. So I am really glad that you were all here. Quiet Girl, good to see you. Kelly, glad that you're here. Charlie Murphy, I think I said hello to Alf. I think I said hello to Quiet Girl. Good to see you. Rick Smith, glad that you are here. So, and we got a small crowd this morning. That's good. It's going to let us roll. I'm pretty excited about tonight's. About today's boat. This is a good one, and I'll tell you why. We're gonna let our hair down, so to speak. There are some things that have to be talked about that I think are wicked important to this whole sobriety thing, and I don't think they get talked about. I think this is one of those subject matters that simply does not get talked about. I joke about it, but it probably deserves a full show and a no joke show. Like this is something that really needs to be tackled. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let me start by saying thank you to all of the new people on the lifeboat who have reached out to me to tell me a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what kind of stuff's going on in your life, so that when I look out on the deck of the boat and I see people out there, I go, oh, struggling with methamphetamine. I know what this person's doing. Or this person's been sober for 7 years, had one stumble a year and a half ago. These kind of things are nice to know when you're sitting in the captain's chair. It really does give me a little bit of a better understanding, a little bit of a better mindset when it comes to hanging out with all you. Lemmy, good to see you, my brother. Allison, Stacy, glad that you're here. So I've got this thing. I got an email from somebody on the boat, and the person's fairly new on the boat, and which leads me to believe that they probably found me from another channel, because that's how it rolls these days on the lifeboat. If I go and I do a spot on somebody else's channel, we tend to pick some people up from it, and a lot of times they show up with a minimal amount of knowledge of the lifeboat, and they just want to get sober, and that's awesome. That's when we really want people. Somebody sent me an email and said, "There's so and so on the boat, and they're a friend of mine, blah blah blah," and they're still getting high on, and I believe the substance was cannabis. The way it was described, I assume it was cannabis, but they didn't say straight out that that's what it was. They had quit their drug of choice, but are still getting high. So I assume it was cannabis. A little bit of weed. And I just want to say a couple of things. Number one, I don't care. I care to hell that we all get sober, and I care to hell that people get off their substance of choice. I don't much care about people who are smoking pot. I don't much care about people who are drinking. I don't much care about people who are snorting blow. If these things are not dramatically affecting their life, it's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about addiction. The vast majority of people who use drugs use them without a problem. That's a fact. And it makes some people uncomfortable when I say that, but it's the truth. The vast majority of people who do drugs use them, air quotes, recreationally. How we cannot, right? But the point is this: whether or not the person, is smoking some weed as a way to get off of their substance of choice. They were drinking 2/5 a day, and now they smoke a couple of joints. I think it's a good trade. I really do. I don't care if somebody trades a very hard drug like alcohol that's killing them for weed. I don't want their coping mechanisms in life to be drugs. I think that that's a mistake. It's a decision you have to make. I think it's a mistake. So if you find yourself using your substance of choice, if you find yourself, so you got off of heroin and cocaine, and now you drink 4 times a week. I'm not losing a lot of sleep over that. If you drink until you're unconscious 4 times a week and you black out, well, now we're starting to get into some dangerous territory. Or if you literally trade one drug for another, so all of a sudden now, instead of doing dope 8 times a day, you spend all of every waking minute that you're on this planet drunk. That's a problem. If you literally are just trading one habit for another, but living the exact same lifestyle, then we have a problem. But there are people who take up smoking weed because it helps them stop drinking or whatever. I don't want to know things like that. And I sure as hell don't want to know things like that from people on the boat. Okay. We're cool. I'm not mad at anybody, but we don't need to be telling on one another here on the lifeboat and what people's habits are. That's their decision, and it's how they do their sobriety. So that was one thing that I wanted to address. The other thing that I wanted to address is this: there is a misconception in the sobriety world that we are making a massive sacrifice by giving up our substance of choice, right? So now we're not going to be those happy-go-lucky, fun people that we were for the entire time that we were doing drugs, right? Because we bought our fun by the gram. We didn't have to really trip out about stressing out about the things that normal people do. Like, I hope this is fun this weekend. Oh, don't worry, I brought fun. It was about $300 an ounce, and I have it in my bag, and we're good to go. Or whatever you believed was that golden ticket that got you fun, right? We don't talk about religion on this channel. And that's something that I felt strongly about from the beginning, because I don't want to run off anybody that has a drug problem of a religion that's different than mine, right? Last thing in the world I want to do is run off anybody with a drug problem, because we try to help people who suffer from use disorders, alcohol use disorder, opiate use disorder, whatever the case may be. That's our goal. So we don't run those people off. It's the last thing in the world that I want to do. But I don't have a problem with anybody's religion. And if people grow thick skin, then we can actually talk about things like religion, and it wouldn't run people off if the person speaking to you happened to be of a different religion. But today I'm going to be talking about my religion briefly. And there's a reason. I would never talk about someone else's religion when I talk about what I'm about to say, because I'm going to criticize the religion that I'm a part of. But it dovetails very nicely into what we're talking about here on the lifeboat. I am a firm believer that Christ really did exist. He was God in human form, and then he got nailed to a cross, and then he rose from the dead 3 days later. Don't care what you believe. It's completely your business. But a very large part of my sobriety is the fact that I believe in Christ. I, however, have a problem with Christians. And this is one of my biggest stumbling blocks in my belief in God. And this I'm bringing up because this is exactly the same problem with sobriety, right? If you read the Bible, it says that, how you're going to tell a Christian? By how they love one another, by how they treat each other. The love that you're going to see between Christians. That's how you're going to be able to identify people that follow Christ. Sadly, the way you really identify them is to usually find people that are somewhat judgmental, people who do not believe in having fun anymore at all, people that like to tell you if someone's having a couple of beers or doing something else. Very often, there's this stereotype of what a Christian is in your head. And it's this individual that dramatically changes how they live, right? Which very often is good. But sadly, often want people to know how much they dramatically changed how they live and how much they sacrifice and how much they are doing everything in their power to make their God happy. That should be between you and God, in my humble opinion. That's not something that you do for the world. And in sobriety, very often you go to meetings, you go to anything, and you find a group of people that have taken the pledge to never get high again or have any fun, right? I mean, life's going to suck, but we're not going to do that damn drug. I've said this on the boat before a bunch of times, and everybody gets pissed when I do, but I'm going to say it again. If you're living your sober life absolutely miserable, get high. I mean, at my worst, when I was doing 6 to 7 grams of heroin a day, at my worst, I was living a life that was absolutely miserable. I was living an addiction that was absolutely at its worst, and believed somehow that poison that I was putting into my body, 7 grams a day, was making me happy. I had come to the belief that having that drug is what made me a person who could enjoy themselves. I'm here to tell you that you can have a hell of a lot of fun. Why is it that we seem to think that we have more fun on drugs? Have you ever run that one through your dome? Honestly, is this something you've ever thought about? Because we don't even call it doing drugs anymore, do we? What's it called? It's called partying. Well, if you said to somebody, hey, we're going to be partying. Well, partying sounds damn fun, doesn't it? Honestly, partying sounds fantastic. And everybody loves a good party. When you're sitting on a bathroom floor, right, and you have stuck yourself with a needle 125 times, but have not yet found a vein, and there's blood all over your arms, and you're leaking blood on the floor of the bathroom, and you got a syringe in your hand that you may have used 25 or 35 times before because you just can't get down to buy new ones, or you can't justify spending $25 on needles when you could be spending $25 on dope. Well, that's partying, right? Don't bullshit yourself. If you're gonna get the picture, get the picture. Here's what happens, people. Drugs do not make the party more fun. You know what drugs do? Drugs takes away the inhibitions that you have lived with your entire life that make it so that you don't have fun. We're afraid to have people see us dancing, right? I mean, good Lord, do you want anyone to see you dancing? Well, you have about 7 beers, though, and you don't give a crap. You're that dude or that chick on the dance floor just cutting it up. And let me tell you what else. You are the next name on the waiting list for karaoke, right? You and 2 friends are going to sing "Come On, Eileen" like you used to scream back in the 80s in high school. And it's just going to be a ball. Why can you do that when you go out and have 6 beers? Or you smoke a bunch of pot or whatever? You know, things are just so much funnier when I'm high. No, it's not what it is. Believe it or not, it's not. Yes, it might tweak your sense of humor slightly. What it does is takes away the inhibitions of laughing as hard as you can in front of people. I don't know whether you realize this or not, but we're built in with a very odd set of, we're not born with it, but we build up this set of defense mechanisms that try to not let us stand out. It wants to make it so that we can blend in with the backdrop, and I can look like I'm just part of that picture of Captain James Tiberius Kirk's shirt, right? Just blending into the wall so that I can watch people dance, nudge the guy next to me and go, "Nice, huh? Saturday Night Fever. Look at this dude, right? He can cut a rug." I just stay on the outside and crack a few jokes. Why? Because I haven't gotten rid of all of my hangups by using dope. Well, I just got rid of them. Honestly, this was something for me that was absolutely massive in my walk with getting sober. The realization that I didn't need to be wasted to do what I'm doing right now. I didn't need to drug my inhibitions to be able to go and speak and do what I do. Daniel Theobald, good morning to you, my brother. I didn't need to do that. This was an epiphany, especially for somebody who worked as a public speaker, right? I mean, I really believed wholeheartedly that in order to be able to just hop up on stage and do what I have done, the only thing really professionally that I've ever done, in order to do that, I believed I had to be wasted. And I convinced myself, and this is what your body does, this is what your brain does. It convinces you that you can't do it sober. Why? Well, because it's a hell of a lot easier if the brain doesn't have to make you feel comfortable normally before you go on stage. Or if your brain doesn't have to work, right? It doesn't have to go through the mental gymnastics. Okay, so it's not, when you've done 1,000 of these shows, you don't get real stressed out before you hit the play button or the record button or whatever, go live. You don't stress out about doing a 1-hour live show, even if you get a phone call with a few minutes left, like I do to Heather Joy. You know, if I call Heather with an hour left and go, 5 minutes 5 minutes to 4, and I call Heather up and say, I need you to do the lifeboat. Heather's smart and has been with me now long enough to know that she probably needs 1 or 2 shows in the pipe, just in case I have something happen to my heart, or I get hit in the head, or I get robbed. There's all kinds of cool stuff that happens here on the lifeboat that means that someone has to hop in this chair instantly. You know what? You wouldn't care if you had 6 or 7 beers in you. You wouldn't care if you'd done 4 or 5 pain pills. You never would care about hopping up in front of a camera or jumping up, even on stage. If you knew the number of public speakers I knew that would tell you that they had severe back trouble, and the really hard part was getting on stage for an hour and 45 minutes with a back problem, right? So what they did is they ate OxyContin, or they ate Loratab Lake, good and plenties, and everybody had that one legitimate medical condition that allowed them to take whatever it is they were taking. The vast majority of speakers were taking opiates, but there were guys that took 3 or 4 milligrams of Xanax over the course of the day. We had people abusing absolutely everything. Why? Because they needed Mind My Blues. Good to see you. Welcome. Burrell, I'm glad that you're here. Why? Because they needed to drug the part of their body that said, hey, what the hell are you doing? You're going to get up on stage and karaoke? No, we don't do that. No. You sit here, you feel uptight, and you be embarrassed about something like that. You're not going to put yourself out there. You don't want. All drugs do is give you the balls to be the person you are. You understand? You go to a karaoke club and you watch 9 drunk people singing. The booze, just let them be them. We get so hung up about stupid things. I'm here to tell you that if sobriety isn't fun, you're friggin' doing it wrong. If sobriety is not a really great adventure, you're doing it wrong. If Christianity doesn't look like love from a distance, you're doing it wrong, right? And one of the other things that really bothers me about religion of any kind is when one person tells you how much better they are a Muslim than that person, or I'm so much better a Buddhist than that person. And within the religion that within my belief, there are a crap load of people who take great pride in letting you know that they're better at believing in the same God that you believe than you are. And for obvious reasons, God must be more pleased with them than you. Well, once again, I bring this up for one reason and one reason only. And that reason is that this happens a crap load. Oh, I got a bug on my desk. I don't do bugs. This happens a crap load with sobriety as well. You get a lot of people that just want you to know that that they're really handling it. And they want you to know that they're going to stay sober. This is how bad life is. But let me tell you how great I'm doing at overcoming. I'm all over you being proud of your sobriety, providing you don't compare your sobriety to anybody else. Comparison is the thief of joy. And when we start to compare ourselves to other people and how well they're doing at whatever, we are screwing up us. We're screwing up them, the relationship between the two of us. It is about as dumb a thing as you can do. And you have my permission to be stupid in any part of your life you want, but on the lifeboat, we're not doing that crap. We're not going to say, hey, so-and-so glorifies the hell out of drugs all the time. Yeah, they may be sober, but when they're in the chat, you know what? I don't care about drug jokes. This is my new thing, for real, because I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't care that someone cracks a drug joke. I don't. I'm sorry. We have a very, very, cameras are awesome. Lifeboat, saw you on another stream. Let me see. Went 4 months and I got bored. Yeah, shit's tough. Got 4 months of being sober and got bored. Well, of course you did. Of course you did. Because very often sobriety gets boring. Why? Well, because all of the things that we needed a little bit of lubrication for, all of the things that we needed to just get a little bit of lube to go do the way we wanted it to, right? I need a little social lubricant to walk up to the girl, who is it, Charlie Brown? The pretty girl in the red dress, the Charlie Brown girl, or the red hair, the pretty girl in the red hair. To walk up to that girl and say, hey, how you doing? My name is Tommy. Just thought I would come over and introduce myself. Right? New in the area, whatever it is. Well, I need a couple of beers to make that happen because I just don't feel confident. No, all of those things that you think liquid courage does for you, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If you look at what booze does in the body and a crap load of other drugs, I'm just picking on booze because it's a great example when it comes to women and things like that. Good old social lubrication, says God is divine. Absolutely. You've all seen the t-shirts, right? Beer, getting ugly people laid since 19, whatever, right? There's something to that. And I don't mean the ugly part, but don't tell me that there aren't a lot of hookups that are going to happen tonight that tomorrow morning people are going to go, oh man, if I hadn't done that, there's no way I would have gone home with that person. Man, you wanted to go home with that person. You wanted to talk yourself into the fact that you could go home with that person and you needed a little bit of booze to do it. But it's that way across the board. So I'm not surprised that you quit and got bored. You also got to find a group of people that understand that you've quit and still want to have a good time, right? You really do. There is a motion sweeping the world right now. I don't know whether or not you realize this, but this is a stone cold fact. We are seeing a revival in sobriety like we've never seen before. Beer helping white men dance since 1876. That's funny. Goddess divine. That is funny. Beer helping white men dance since 1876. That's awesome. And it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I'll tell you something, people. I will get out and dance. When we get the lifeboat show that goes across the country, and I come and visit you people, we'll when we throw on a tune that I can walk into. Of course, I can't play a song here, or it's like magic. It's like right out of the cartoons. If I put on some music of any kind, a closet door opens and a guy steps out with like a whack-a-mole hammer and hits you on the top of the head and tells you that they've demonetized your video. 100%. That's why I did it. Most friends are just stone cold. Absolutely. It is why you did it. It's why everybody does it. We need a permission slip to have fun. So you saw the thumbnail today, right? No fun. That crap's over, man. That crap's over. We're sober now. And God forbid that sobriety takes you down the road where all of a sudden you find your belief in a higher power, because you want to find some people that are really obnoxious. Find me a freshly converted, freshly sober individual. Now you've really got somebody to contend with. I'm here to tell you that I'm a really, really fun believer in God. I have a good time. I haven't changed my life in those ways. The things that my belief in a higher power have done for me have changed the parts of my life that were really hideous, embarrassing, and the parts of my life that were damaging people. It created a whole new part of my life where I wanted to do the exact opposite and actually help people maybe get sober and try to get their life on track. And you know what? We win some, we lose some. But when I got sober, I did not lose my sense of humor. I did not lose. You guys see me and Johnny. We're 50-year-old men drinking a gallon of milk and blowing chunks on video cameras, right? We're eating a fish that literally has been fermenting in its own urine, right? And just the nastiest stuff in the entire world. Why do I do the challenges on a sobriety channel? Because I would like people to realize that you can still be the same idiot that's doing the same stupid things and doing it stone cold sober. You don't need permission to be the person you are. Learn to dance like no one's watching and watch how much it changes your life. Tommy, I might dance once every 2 decades. Why would that change my life? I'm not saying that it's important that the dance thing. Skateboarder, also Christian. Yeah, that could be a tough combo for real. That could be a tough combo. The Goddess Divine says the fish video is hysterical. Thank you. I do think that the fish video is really hysterical. It's a very funny video, and I have met more people because of that video. There are people in my life that I love that that will be a part of my of the rest of the time on this planet. They will be a part of my journey every step of the way, and I've met them solely because I woofed down a bunch of disgusting fish and vomited on camera. Voila. But that kind of stuff. I don't want to give up who I am. I want to give up drugs, right? I don't want to give up having fun. I want to give up heroin. I don't want to give up my sense of humor. Do I have to get pissed off if Family Guy makes a joke about something now? I'm sober. When they go see Dr. Hartman and Dr. Hartman offers them a bunch of Vicodin to leave, is it good for society? No. Can I laugh at it? You betcha. You betcha. Honestly, I don't care. And you know what? I don't hate people who can drink and drug. I did. There was a period of time in my life, I'm not joking you, where I hated people who were able to still use drugs. Yeah, Heather Joy cooking and jamming in the kitchen leads to happy feet, says Buddha Davis. Buddha, please flash me the number 85, Buddha, or 80, and tell me where you're at. People, Buddha Davis is an awesome example of exactly what I'm talking about. Buddha's in Massachusetts. Don't hold that against him. Let's brush over that part and get to the rest of it. So he is a Massachusetts person, and got a lot of friends from that part of the country. So from the very first time he wandered onto the boat, hold on one moment. I dance and sing all the time, like nobody is watching, proudly. But I was abused in church when I was a child, so I did not like anything about it. It is still triggering me from time to time. I believe that it could. That's absolutely horrific. But please don't confuse the building and the people in it with a higher power. And I'm not preaching to you or anything else, but human beings, right, created religion. Remember that. Human beings created religion, but they didn't create God. CK, I'm glad that you're here. So Buddha Davis wanders onto the boat, and I reached out to him. I also got to know his grandmother, which is awesome because she's just one of the most beautiful people on the planet. But I really got to know the family, and I spent a lot of time talking to them and getting to know them. Buddha lives a very, very happy life, and I leaned on him. And I have permission to talk about this, by the way. I don't talk about people's business unless I have expressed permission to talk about this, but I have spoken to Buddha. Buddha did not want to go the medical assisted treatment route that a lot of people have availed themselves with doing Suboxone or Subutex or any of those. And it was actually a really good decision on his part because Buddha, unlike a lot of people, Buddha really is a person that backdoored into this exclusively based on pain management. So he has gone a different route. However, he has gotten off of fentanyl and done it his own way and has lost zero sense of humor, zero zest for life, zero. He's exactly who he was, just a better version. And that's, I think, what we want, people. I think that's what we want. And I think that one of the reasons that people tend to hate sober people is when they create a new you. And that's what you're doing, right? You get rid of the old, Tommy, and get 2.0 Tommy. And the new one is supposed to be a better version of the last one. Sadly, it's usually a stripped down version. They're not as much fun. How many times have you heard people say something exactly like that? Should we invite so-and-so? Oh, no, dude. He's gotten sober and it's kind of a bummer to be around. He's not, it's just different for him. And we don't want to do anything to ruin that. Look, I'm not suggesting you go out and, with three dudes who are dropping acid and doing beer funnels because you used to like to hang out with them. You understand? But I'm saying we do have to get to a point where we can be happy in this sobriety thing. And happiness, by the way, like the video I did yesterday, right? Happiness, truthfully, is a choice. But I'll tell you something. If you want bliss, then you're going to get out of your happy zone, because that safe zone that we live in will get you to a level in life, but it won't get you past that level. All of the things that are fantastic in life require for you to get a little bit uncomfortable, right? Think about it. Your significant other, you had to go up and talk to them before it was comfortable. You had to have the guts to ask that person to be a larger part of your life. You have endeavored to spend your time with a partner. That's a huge thing. How do I figure out my version 2.0 though? Great question. How do I figure out my version 2.0 though? Hard to figure out what to include and how, for me anyway. No, it's a great question. Because I went through this. I was handed a blank sheet of paper. Literally, I'm in prison, right? I got nothing to do in life. I've been on dope since I was 13. I'm 46 years old, right? I'm in prison, and I meet Q, and he says to me exactly kind of what I'm telling you. You can redesign who you are. You can be Tommy 2.0. So here's the piece of paper. Design who you want to be. Well, it started out with, me thinking, I don't know who the hell I want to be. If I knew I wanted to be, I wouldn't be on dope in the first place. So I got down to just basics. And I started with this really simple stuff. Now, I was more messed up than you are. Take that at just face value and believe me, right? I was robbing banks. I was really, really, really messed up. But because of who I was, When I started to redesign the new me, honesty was the first thing I wrote down on the piece of paper. I was going to be the most honest person in the world. Don't ask me how you look in that dress. I'm liable to tell you. Or say, I don't answer questions like that because they're just awful questions. And to be honest, I have no fashion sense whatsoever. Well, those two things are both true, right? I can say that, but I'm not a liar anymore. I don't lie. I remember telling Papa Scoville, he was asking me about bank robberies. And I said to him, man, do not ask me any questions you don't want to know the answer to, because I'm going to answer any question you ask now. I'm not the person that I was. And we spent about 4 hours, honestly, going over, and he would say to me, you remember that time you told me this? That was BS, wasn't it? And I said, yeah, that was BS. But we at the end of his life, we built a relationship that was absolutely phenomenal, and we built it on trust. So I started with trust, and then I went with reliability, right? And then I went with like somebody that looked like they got up, took a shower, and shaved. I started to talk about how I wanted to look, how I wanted to be, and I started to put together just the nuts and bolts crap, that kind of stuff. And then along the way, Goosebump, what happened was, as I started to assemble that person, keep in mind, I'm drawing a border around the outside of this painting, right? I'm not even putting the character in this painting yet. I'm literally just, he's honest, right? He's trustworthy. I sound like a freaking Boy Scout at this point, right? I'm ticking off all of the things that I want to be, not who I want to be. I'm ticking off now what I want to be. And as I started to go down this path, it's when I started to realize that the biggest passion in my life, which I did not realize prior to that, was that my ability to try to help somebody else not make the mistakes that I did became a very huge driving force in my life. And once you decide what that huge driving force in your life is going to be, then the dominoes fall and you don't have to assemble yourself anymore. So I would say start with the basics and start working on the smallest aspects and work and start going up. And I think that my experience has been not just with me, but with people that I've counseled, that as that starts to happen, you discover the you. Very often this is done, almost always this is done in the journaling process is when you really get the feedback. And often it's, we find ourselves writing about things that we really love, that we used to do, that we stopped doing. When you come out of the fog of drugs, you know, I have a friend I've talked about on the boat many times, but he was a rock climber. An accomplished rock climber. You know, I don't mean like he had done Everest and things like that, but he had done some pretty serious ascents, and he was into it. He traveled the country doing it. You know, he was a very talented climber, and when he got addicted to heroin, he just started selling off his climbing equipment. You know, 4 pieces at a time, 5 pieces at a time, whatever. But he went from having enough climbing gear, you know, for 5 or 6 people to go climbing to, I don't even think he had shoes anymore. But as you come out of that fog, you start going, you know what? I loved rock climbing. I was a rock climber before I became a junkie, right? Bad word, by the way, junkie. It is. It's a bad word. It's a word I think we can all handle, but it's a bad word. And it's how he would have described himself. And it's certainly how I used to describe myself. But as he came out of that fog, now you go, man, I was a rock climber. I'm going to start. You know, I don't have all my equipment. I don't have all my stuff, but you know what, damn it, I'm going to go up there. If I just watch guys today or whatever, but you start getting back into things that you got out of because of drugs. You start figuring out who you are because of how things go on around you. Bro, my clinician went on vacation and my new clinician didn't put in the increase after I chased him around for a week. I was on 75 for 2 weeks. I just hit 80. Been a long road, but Buddha, congratulations. That is the blocking dose, people. At this point, he has enough of that medication in his body to block any other medications that he's going to do. He's not doing this to get high. If he was, he wouldn't have done it. He would have stopped a long time ago. So proud of you, Buddha. I really am, man. This has been one hell of a journey for Buddha, but I am so proud of you, brother. I really am. Just keep doing what you're doing. You'll be around forever and be a great dad. And grow old and ugly up there in Massachusetts. Love you, man. I really do. Proud of you. The guy, JT, it was an interview with Growing Up in Scientology. I got to assume that you were talking about the one that I did with Aaron. Man, I love doing shows with him, by the way. I really do. Aaron is the guy's a great content creator. He's comfortable as hell in front of the camera. This is a good example of the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There are a lot of people to be as comfortable in front of a camera as he is would have to be wasted. Right? I mean, think about what, you turn on the record button or the go live. Go live is even more stressful because at least when you're recording, you can edit or whatever. Thank you very much. Cameras are awesome. I appreciate that, man. I do. I really do. I appreciate that. But you hit the go live button and you're kind of working without a net. So I've got, I love watching live stuff. I don't watch a lot of video on anything anymore. With the cerebral infarction thing and the headaches I get, one camera, I can watch one camera stuff always. So when I started going down that road, I watch interrogations, I watch some other things, but the vast majority, Coburn, good to see you, man. The vast majority of what I look at online, I look at other content creators, and Aaron's good, man. He really is. You know who else is Gold? Is it Andrew Gold? I think it's Andrew Gold. Also good. Really enjoy his work. There's some great people out there creating content currently on YouTube. There really are. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's going on. Free Xenu, good to see you. It was great seeing you on Aaron. Aaron and I have talked, and whenever we get an opportunity to work together, we will. It's it's a great benefit to both channels. It's great that, like I said, I'm glad that you found this too. That's a true story. I really am. I am. We have a chemistry when Aaron and I are on together. There's some kind of a chemistry there that works. We get a lot of views over on his channel. Our first video, I think, did over 100,000 views, which is awesome because it makes me feel less of a freeloader. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing when you got 3,000 subscribers and the guy you're doing a collab with has 160,000 or something, they are really hooking you up. And it's nice that at least when we get together, he gets a lot of views, which makes me happy. It really does. So that's a cool thing. All right, peeps. The question becomes, do you have to be miserable now that you're sober? If that's how you're going to get down, I would recommend not even bothering, because that's a terrible way to live. Oh, my blues. That is a really kind thing to say. I appreciate that. Buddha David says, thank you, my brother. My eyes are a little watery. I'm not going to lie. And thank you, crew. It can be done. And my battle isn't done by no means because of some serious injuries, but living and loving. And you know what, man? Not in danger of overdosing. And that to me is the biggest part. I'm not going to lie to you people. Buddha Davis cost me a lot of nights of sleep. Buddha was a crew member that and again, I have had a conversation about this. I have it in writing. And I respect the hell out of this, by the way. But Buddha once sent me a letter after I said, I've been working with Buddha, and I was dancing around a lot of stuff that he had told me, because I don't ever talk about something that someone tells me with anyone, much less with the entire boat. But I got a letter immediately afterwards that said, if anything that has happened in my story can help anybody else, you have my permission to use it, which I thought was really a stand-up thing to do and say, especially in the middle of it. This is absolutely in the middle of it, in the middle of the recovery and the process. But so I do have permission to talk about Buddha and not have to feel bad doing it. But Buddha has overcome some pretty heinous injuries. He really has worked through some stuff that no one on this planet can blame him for, for doing dope until the day he leaves Earth. He's seriously messed up. His medical file looks like A through L of the Encyclopedia Britannica. For you young ones on the channel, they used to have these things called encyclopedias. Think of it as a paper version of Google. And it would take up like an entire section of a library shelf. Very, very heavy books. And they were awesome for push-ups because it was very easy to get books that were the exact same thickness, and you could put one on each side so you could dip all the way down. And that's pretty much how I used them throughout all of high school and college. Yeah, that's really how I did that. Miss V, I don't know if I said hello to you today, V. Always good to see you. Kelly, are we having problems? Did I miss something in the chat? Well, here's a one for Kelly. But what did I miss? Kelly, talk to me. Hey, talk to me, eh? I sound like an Italian from the northeast of the United States. And that could be because I am an Italian from the northeast of the United States. I know I'm jumping things all over the place, but I'm trying to find Kelly to see what's happening here. And I'm not doing a good job. Kelly, if there's anything I can do, please feel free to speak out or reach out. Trainee human. Hi, crew. Today is a difficult day for me. A year since we lost one of our cats. Oh, man. I'm 8 months and 1 day sober and actually handling it well. I love you all. We love you too. I get that, trainee human. I am well, you all know. I'm really an animal lover, and they are such a part of hold on one second. Yeah, they're so much a part of your family that it's painful to it's really painful to live without them. And yeah, I'm still mourning a cat named Linda that I lost in like 1989. There are 2 severe weather warnings coming to my town today. Boy, there we go. Let's see. Kelly. Sorry, peeps. It's important stuff we do here. You feel me? It's important stuff. However, I cannot find this is, truthfully and honestly, in a perfect world, man. This is why, like, when Mark Wages and I were together, Mark missed nothing. Like, I would talk and just, squirrel off in directions like I always do. And Mark just kept, like, every comment. It was just, you guys will see Mark and I working together tonight, I hope. No big deal, really. Just, not used to people in person, not used to talking to people in person about my addiction. Oh, no question. All right. You know what? It's a very difficult thing to do, isn't it? Miss V, did I read that your ex is going to get out of prison? How's that possible? Or did he just not get as much time? V, reach out if you need me, huh? My animals are crucial to my well-being. My Remy now. Let me tell you something, people. I saw a video of Kathy working, so to speak, right? Kathy is a professional musician, and damn, is she good. I mean, for real. I felt the same way when I saw we have multiple professional musicians on the boat. M. Hunt is a professional musician. And the first time I saw him play, I was just like, I was blown away. And I saw Kathy on a video the other day, and man, she's incredible. She really is. She's absolutely incredible. Oh, that's okay, V. You scared me. He can put it off as long as he wants, V. He's afraid to go down to the big house because he's got some form of like in the county jail, he feels safer. Guys don't put off sentencing, V. It's not done. When you're a criminal and you're going to prison, you want to get to prison as fast as possible, because at prison there's drugs and booze, and there's I'm just saying, convicts are always trying to get to prison because there's so much more freedom than there is in the county jail. If there's a guy sticking around in the county jail, it's because he's afraid to go to prison. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. I mean it. You're absolutely gifted. Just make it look easy and just sound fantastic. You're really a gifted. Yes, because he has enemies in those big prisons. Well, that makes sense because, as I said, nobody tries to do that. Kelly, you're going to be all right. And what does age have to do with anything? I am the least mature 53-year-old in history, and it's because of addiction. We sometimes sort of get stuck in our development. For all of you, for all who haven't drank some Kool-Aid, enjoy tonight. Much love, Mark. Nice, Buddha. Yeah, you can drink this Kool-Aid. Anxiety knows no age. Valerie, what a beautiful that's a great comment. She says hugs. Anxiety knows no age. That's right. I've watched this. This has been an amazing thing for me because I've since starting the Lifeboat now, I've worked with people from about 19 years old, not a lot of them, 19-year-old people all the way up to their 80s. And the all of the emotions that come along with getting sober, yeah, they know no age. Kelly, I don't know what hurdle you're getting over, but I do have faith in you. For the cat, the anxiety affects every one of us, Kathy. I promise you, to some degree or another, there is nobody in recovery that is not affected at some level by anxiety. It's one of the most difficult. The cat is going to screw this up if she can. It's one of the most difficult aspects of sobriety. How is Lydia? Lydia is engaged. That's how Lydia is. Her previous boyfriend, who, by the way, has never done drugs. He may have experimented. He's never had a habit. He is a teetotaler. He does not drink. He does not do drugs. He's a professional guy. He's got a career. He asked Lydia to marry him. Beautiful. A fellow believer and a fellow sober individual gave them a ring, one of the most beautiful rings you've ever seen. And she's on top of the world. She's working right now on getting back into, she had a career. She was she worked as a dental hygienist, had a career, was doing really well. And then, by the way, I have permission to tell you this too, but she had some problems and she took things. She did things at an office that could have landed her in prison, but fortunately, they just let her go. But she's getting back into her career, and I don't know. I have really, really high hopes for the both of them. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing, and I'm going to try to get some. They don't have like an official engagement picture yet. I told them they have to. Without that, you don't get cool gifts. But I will get a photo. And Lydia Goosebumps says, not sure who Lydia is. Lydia is a girl that wanted to get sober. And I had done some work on a watch for her aunt. And her aunt asked me to intervene. And it was the ability to work with somebody in person, which was terrifying. I promise you, terrifying. I'm very comfortable like this. Not really comfortable working with somebody one-on-one, but the drama that took, she went into precipitative withdrawal, full-blown precipitative withdrawal from fentanyl, and then ended up trying to drink herself to death, in theory. We've never actually had that. She doesn't remember going down that road, but she drank several fifths and almost killed herself. Squirrel is the same breed as Scram's mommy. Well, that would be the tortoise, and the torties have more of an attitude problem than most cats on the of any other breed. But this one happens to be Squirrel is great. She has no attitude problem. She's a great kitty. And she is the official cabin cat of the lifeboat. Isn't that right? Because I promised when I started this channel that we would never judge anybody for any of the things that they've done in their life. The things that you've done when you are on drugs, those things happen because you're on drugs. We absolutely do not judge people for their drug habits or any of that. And of course, I also promised more cat in the basket. Cat squirrel is awesome. Animals are really unconditional love and very therapeutic, says Buddha. And he's absolutely right. I get absolute joy from squirrel. And she has done wonders for me since she came into my life. This December will be our, I guess, either second or third. Yeah, squirrel's 2 years old. My first cat was a tortie. She chose me and moved in with me. Torties almost always choose their owners. You hear about this all the time. Honestly, if you go into a place that adopts out cats, they'll tell you that torties pick their owners. It's not the other way around. And it's just how they react. Like if they smell something about you or whatever. But I think I've told the story on here before. When I found squirrel, I put 2 fingers through the little slot in the cage because that's about all you could get in, and she just came over and laid on them, like dropped right on top of them on her back and stared at me. I thought, uh-oh. Even the woman there said to me, this cat, picked you. The farm cat that hangs out with our chickens is a tortoise. I love tortoiseshell cats. I've had 2 in a row. My last cat, whose name was Fiona, was a tortie. I lost her to my ex-wife. You haven't gone to the dark side and joined the Sea Org. Oh, are you referring to the chapeau? Actually, here's the deal with this. This was a tip of the hat, so to speak, to a crew member on the boat that's been here a long time. I was named by this crew. The crew here named the channel. They named me captain. So I wore this for a really long time, and then, because I didn't want to mistakenly, I don't want anybody to stop by this channel and think that I've been in the military. And it's trolls do this all the time. Trolls talk about stolen valor because they got nothing, here it's tough to troll somebody who comes out and says, here are all the things I've been arrested for. Here are the people that I ripped off. Here are the things that I did that are illegal, right? So the only thing they got, that's one of the things that they like to beat on is this stolen valor thing. So I took the hat off. This is not a military insignia. That is a yacht club. I love your shows with Aaron. Steven, that's a cool thing to say. I was saying earlier, I absolutely love being on Aaron's channel. He really is a great content creator, super comfortable in front of a camera, and he just he keeps the conversation flowing. There's never really any downtime when you're doing an interview with Aaron. And if you forgot something, or if you just didn't come in organized, he's going to ask the right questions to get the most out of the interview. Super talented guy. But I'm glad that you're here, Stephen. This is welcome to the lifeboat. Dermatillomania. So, may I ask a really personal question, Goosebumps? Skin picking disorder. So gross, but it's a part of my life now. Was your substance of choice methamphetamine? The only reason I tried to kick Oxy was because I could do it remotely. I wonder how many addicts stopped treatment when COVID-related rules stopped. Zoom appointments, like here in Georgia. Okay, the only reason I tried to kick Oxy was because I could do it remotely. Kelly, you can, almost every single state in the union, you can still do remote everything. If you're trying to do medical assisted treatment, the doctor will see you via the computer or phone. They will write you a prescription and call it in. All you got to do is go to a pharmacy. So the laws have been rolled back dramatically to make the ability for people to get Suboxone, Subutex, other drugs used to treat opiate use disorder, they have made them very easy to get online so that you don't have to see a doctor in person. And the reason for that is the 300 plus overdoses that we're having a day in the United States. So that wasn't your drug of choice. Very odd. Oh, I got you. That might be interesting to talk to Dr. Cat about as well. Mondays from now on, we are going to, providing that Dr. Cat has fun and still wants to hang out with me after being stuck on camera with me for an hour. This is something that we are hoping to do continually. Tonight, Mark Wages will be on with Tommy. Oh, I absolutely forgot. I am on tonight. Heather, you're on tomorrow morning. Thanks, Heather. Heather was supposed to do tonight. I was supposed to do tomorrow morning, I think, but I forgot. Tonight is Wednesday. It's Wednesday with Wages. Heather, you will be on tomorrow morning. This is a foot of a cat in a basket. I love it when she sticks her foot out like that. Great cat. Absolutely an amazing cat. I've been here listening, but had to get up and make coffee and take the dog out for a walk. Georgia stopped that in May. You have to do intermittent in-person visits. The rules were relaxed because of COVID. The state of Georgia requires these visits. Kelly, so that's a statewide law. Yeah. Wow. That's just stupid. Intermittent in-person visits. Kelly, if it's not a huge pain in the backside, we're at the top of the hour, so the show's going to be over here in a minute. If it's not a huge pain in the butt, could you send me anything that you got on that about Georgia to sober@myyahoo.com? I'll tell you why. We get a lot of people on medical assisted treatment and assist a lot of people in doing that. And there's nothing worse on the earth than getting someone all the way to the finish line who's ready to go and are all excited only to find out that it's not done in your state. There are very few states that are not allowing this. Georgia, apparently one of them. That sucks. Kelly, that sucks. That sucks. The good news is this. There are a couple of bills going through Congress right now to make it a lot easier to dispense Suboxone. And these are federal laws, not state laws. So it may change shortly. If that is the only reason that you are not on medical assisted treatment, please reach out to me. sober@myyahoo.com. There are some things that we can do, Kelly. We can talk about some things that will... please just reach out to me. If you're interested in medical assisted treatment and you're getting blocked by Georgia, reach out to me, please. Sober@myyahoo.com, and let's see what we can do. Still concertizing. First week almost done. She is still concertizing. There's a word that you might have to go another 53 years before you hear again. Concertizing. I got to assume that in your line of work, Kathy, that word gets thrown around a lot, but I have not heard it before. I like a good creative use of word, or invention of one for that matter. Leave a comment after this show, says Charlie Mullins. And since Charlie has never once missed a video, missed leaving a comment after a video, he's got the right to say that. He legitimately can say that to anybody he wants. We have done 1,000 and I don't know, 1,020 or 30 shows or something like that. And Charlie has not missed leaving a message on any of them. Stephen, I agree with you. Someone trying to get sober shouldn't be stopped by their state. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And we will make sure that they're not. If you reach out to me at sober@myyahoo.com, the state's not going to get in your way. There are things that we can do. So don't let Georgia be the reason that you don't get sober. Reach out to me at any of the email addresses, Captain Tommy at gmail.com, TommyScoville@gmail.com, sober@myyahoo.com. Any of those. My address is also in the drop-down box. People, you want to be here tonight. Tonight is going to be Wednesday with Wages. It is going to be a fun show. If you've never seen me on there with my bobbleheaded partner, don't miss it because you're going to dig it. It really is it's a great thing when we get together. Kelly, breathe in for a count of 5 and out for a count of 7 and repeat. It's why my healthcare provider stopped services in Georgia. I can see that. Oh, quiet girl. Still fighting with my doctor. Prayers for you here, quiet girl. Hang in there, please. Yes, Zenwen knows. It is time, people. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. I will be back tonight with my bobbleheaded partner and co-founder of the Lifeboat, Mr. Mark Wages. Captain Mark Wages. Great to see all of you here this morning. Thanks for getting up and sharing your morning with me. I'm Captain Tommy, and this, as promised, is more cat in the basket. And she's attacking the microphone. You got it? Did you get that handled? What are you looking at, you crazy cat? All right, peeps. God bless y'all. See you on deck. Bye-bye. Yep, and that thing. All right, squirrel nut. I said, all right, squirrel nut. See if it worked.